Season is well underway. The due date to file federal taxes is April 18th, state taxes on April 20th. And with some new tax laws affecting Hawaii residents, you may want to do some research about what you can and cannot deduct this year. To guide us through all of this, joining us now is Heidi Kreger. She's an enrolled tax agent who helps people with the dreaded tax season. She helps some of her clients as well. Heidi, Ms. Kreger, thanks for joining us here this morning.
Hi, I'm glad to help out.
Let's talk a little bit about itemizing. A lot of people get confused whether they should itemize or they shouldn't.
Right.
What's your advice for people who should either take the standard deduction or whether they should itemize it?
Well, generally, most folks can do just fine with the standard deduction. However, if you're somebody who has a mortgage, you have property taxes, maybe you have property somewhere else and have taxes on investment property, like on the Big Island, for example. You have, maybe if you have medical expenses, you give charity, you have business expenses, even as an employee, all that is just fine. Put that on your tax form, and it may just lower your income a little more so that your taxes will be computed against a smaller income, because we don't want to be too rich with the IRS.
And what about tax credits? People often ask about tax credits for children. How do they take advantage of that?
Well, there are several things to really know if you have kids. First of all, if your children are under 13, you can take a child care credit if you're working. That's very helpful. If they're under 17, you can get $1,000 extra each kid on top of the exemption for your children as dependents. That's helpful too. Until they're 23, if they're full-time students, they can continue to be dependents on your tax return. All of those items will make your income look a little bit smaller when you finally have to compute your taxes. There are education credits also if your kids are in college, and that could help out quite a bit. And you can take a tuition and fees deduction, which might also make your income appear smaller.
And Ms. Kreger, let's talk a little bit about the stimulus credit. A lot of people are talking about this, but a lot of people might be confused whether they can or whether they do qualify for this. Can you explain what the stimulus credit is and what they can do for taxes?
Most people know that as the Obama credit. That's sort of the popular term for it. It came into play after our recession began. For most folks, if your income is not too large, you can get $400 or $800 extra on top of your refund just by filling out your tax form towards the bottom of the second page. And there you go. Your refund has grown a little bit.
So is there a little check box on that?
Well, it's kind of like a check box. You have to fill out, answer a few questions, but it's quite simple. But don't forget it.
So basically, just look out for it, just in case you do qualify.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that.
All right. Well, Ms. Kreger, we thank you for joining us, and I guess all those people out there who are going to file their taxes want to thank you for some of those tips and advice.
And I'm happy to be here. Thanks very much.
Thanks for joining us here this morning. And if you want to see this interview again, you can always go to the Project Economy section of our website, KITV.com.